Let's talk about protein. Now, protein gets a lot of glory in the world of diet culture, okay? But protein is actually super important to you, okay? Protein helps maintain muscle mass. It helps your body function. We all need protein. Protein also plays a big role in helping us to feel satisfied, okay? So that we're not hungry all the time. Oftentimes, if I eat breakfast without protein in it, for instance, say I have just some cereal, so that's mainly carbohydrates. Um, I am hungry within an hour and I'm like a ravaged beast. And then I just want to snack, snack, snack. However, had I had protein at breakfast, that would have sustained me a lot better until lunch. Sometimes people get really hooked on what are healthy snacks. Well, you probably don't actually need to snack a whole lot in your day if your meals are balanced and they have a good portion of protein. So, what's protein? Protein is meat, okay? Um, Turkey, chicken, beef, pork, insects, kangaroo, crocodile. Okay, protein it's meat. Okay, there are also plant-based forms of protein. We have to get a little bit more creative when we are eating vegetarian style. Um, it's important that you consult with a new dietitian so that you understand how to match up proteins so that you get a complete set of proteins, because proteins are made of things called amino acids, and some of them come just from food. Your body can't actually make them. So if you aren't eating that food, then how do you get them? Okay, so it's important that we have a variety of protein in our diet, and I say diet as in what we eat day to day. Okay. So proteins are meats, and then things like beans and lentils, tofu, edamame, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, those kind of things are protein. Meaning if you were to look at the nutrition label on the back, its biggest contributor is protein. Yes, many of those things will have fat and carbohydrates, but we don't need to worry about that. We just need to know that its biggest contributor is protein, so we're going to say that that counts as a portion of protein for your meal. Okay, how much do you need to eat? Well, again, you can get lost in the rabbit hole thinking about grams per pound of body fat and a pound of body weight and all sorts of things. But what you need to know is a portion of protein starts with the size of your palm of your hand. Okay, roughly the size of your palm, roughly the thickness of your palm. So if you go and get a steak that is that thick, well, you probably don't need it to be the size of your palm because it's really thick. Okay, so you're thinking protein. If I was going to have a piece of chicken, roughly the size of my palm of my hand is one serving. Okay, if I was going to go and have a serving of beans or lentils, roughly the amount that would be the size of my palm of my hand. Okay, now for women, the general starting point, and I say starting point, okay, is that we would have one serving of protein 3 times a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, now for men, it's 1 to 2 servings a day of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so anywhere from 3 to 6 servings of protein a day. Now, if you sit in a sedentary job, you will probably be sufficient with anywhere from 3 to 6 servings of protein a day. Even if you did a 1-hour workout once a day, you do not need higher protein intake. Okay, a balanced protein intake is very sufficient. Myself as a personal trainer, I have a fairly active job most days. Some days I sit at the computer a lot too. I don't eat extra protein generally. I go 1 to 2 servings of protein per meal, and that's what I eat. Okay, so you can feel confident that if you're eating about 1 palm of protein, 1 to 2. Again, women, we often start at 1 serving per meal. Men, we often start at 1 to 2 servings per meal, depending on the size of the human being and the activity level. That starts to increase the amount of protein we need, but that's a starting point, is 1 to 2 servings per meal. Okay, so that's protein. And you want to think about there's protein that we want to eat more of. There's protein that we want to eat sometimes, and then there's protein that we want to eat less often. For instance, in that more category are what we call whole foods. Things like chicken, turkey, beef, crickets, kangaroo, crocodile, beans, lentils, all right, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. Those are the ones that we want to eat more often. Okay, they're not highly processed. They don't have a lot of additives to them. In that eat sometimes category, we start to move towards foods that are potentially a little bit more processed. We start to think about pre-marinated chicken breasts, some processed meat like deli meats. Uh, I'm just looking at my little list because sometimes I forget. Um, yeah, I'll send you a list. You can, if you do coaching with me, I'll send you a very visual list. Okay. We want to eat those sometimes. Do they still count as protein? Absolutely. Do we want to eat them more often? No, but a couple times a week, that's fine. Then we have that third category of that eat less. That's where you start to see things like chicken nuggets, deep fried meat. We think of like things like hot dogs or protein bars or let's see, what's another one? Oh, like wings, like a fried wing. Okay. Are they still protein? Yes, they're actually a significant source of protein. Are they evil? No. Food is not inherently bad or good. It's just food. Okay. Are those things that we want to eat more often? No. Are they things we want to eat sometimes? Probably not. Less often? Yeah. So once in a while, great. Enjoy it. Eat it and then move on. Okay. So we have these foods that we eat more often, eat sometimes, and eat less of. Okay. All of them are valuable. All of them offer protein, but some of them carry a little bit extra baggage, a little bit extra higher fat content, a little extra higher salt or sugar content. And that's why then we would eat them sometimes or less often. Okay. So hopefully that answers some of your questions about protein. Number one, we want to eat roughly 1 to 2 servings of protein, about the size of the palm of our hand, including about the same thickness, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, when you work with me, we talk about how to implement this, okay? But you're thinking 1 to 2 servings per meal. And we want to think about all food has value. If there is a source of protein, you can eat it, but how often you eat it is the big difference as we try to work towards improving our health. Okay. For some people, moving from eating no protein to chicken fingers is a big deal and a big win because they've added protein in. Is it an ideal protein? Probably not long-term sustainability wise, but for them, that might be a better choice than no protein at the moment. So we're going to celebrate that. Okay. So walk your own journey, work at things in your own space at your own pace, and see you next time.